Hey guys, it's the Lazystone here, and welcome back to my video. Now, today I'm going to be talking about something weird, and it's about SML's new video. Now, usually I don't do SML videos. I don't think I can make this channel into an SML video channel, but then again, I am experimenting on some few things, so yeah, I am coming back to YouTube, but in a different way. With that being said, I think it's best to talk about today's SML video that literally came out, I think, today. And when I saw this video, don't get me wrong, the production was amazing. The acting was great. It was there. I mean, everything just fell into place perfectly. Only one problem, and that's the fact that sometimes when it comes to continuity, like being consistent with the plot, I feel like Logan is either doing this on purpose or he's just ass at trying to make the whole lore actually accurate. If there is a creator out there that doesn't know how to keep things consistent with the lore, like actually follow the backstory of every single character, it would be Logan. I don't think Logan pays attention to his characters as, well written. He basically just goes with the flow where the audience might actually just love the show and continue on from there. It's as if the whole entire point of an SML movie, the characters react to each other and then they hit the reset button, and that's all we got. I mean, I love a chaotic video where one character starts hitting the shit out of another one, right, in one of those SML videos. But with this one here, it kind of was crazy, but at the same time, I'm wondering, why is Logan trying so hard to make it look like he doesn't know a goddamn thing about his fucking character? So without any further ado, let me just dive into this video and make a review about it. I'm going to talk about certain plots that happen, and then after that, we're just gonna jump into why I think this video was great for the most part, but the problem is the way they set the characters up. I feel like it was just to make Jeffy look like he can't do nothing wrong, basically. And what I mean by that is that, I'm going to basically make this whole entire video based on Jacque's new purpose in the SML universe. Instead of just a side character for plots that might make sense in certain SML movies, this one in general just kinda peeves me the fuck off. I don't know why. So our story starts out in almost every SML movie. Basically, it starts at the red couch. I wonder where Waldo is in this one, but I digress. So Brooklyn guy meets up with Marvin and Jeffy. Jeffy was wearing this Scottish hat thing, was like, hear ye, hear ye. He has his list of gifts that he wants to get. Unreasonable shit, by the way. And instead of having his birthday at the house, Brooklyn guy came up with the idea to go to Las Vegas into the casino where they could bet it all and win a lot of money, which won't even happen because you can't start with $75 and expect to come out with like hundreds of thousands of dollars. I don't think that ever happened before. Maybe I'm wrong. So it's an all guys trip. Rosalina was whining about not being able to go, but Brooklyn guy tells her to shut the fuck up, and then they moved forward to going to Las Vegas all together. Jeffy, Brooklyn guy, Marvin, and Chef Peepee. I think that's everybody. So they ended up in Las Vegas. They went to a motel before going to the casino. It was trashy as hell. They have a lot of stuff I shouldn't be saying in this video. So just think about the grossest motel ridden with a lot of illegal shit and a lot of shit that you would see out of a Miami Vice type movie, like Eddie Murphy's Beverly Hills movie. The type of gangster related shit that happens in the 80s is in this motel scene. So, and there's a lot of disgusting shit. Typical SML shit, basically. So they go to the casino. They bet a lot of money. They lose some money, but however, Jeffy, out of nowhere, obviously, on his birthday, everything just falls into his hands. Everything works for him perfectly. So Jeffy ends up winning hundreds of thousands of dollars and ends up winning millions, literally millions. And so the guys go to the strip club. They met up with a bunch of girls there, really gross looking puppets I've never seen in my life and ever in SML history. But yeah, today, you know, why not? So that happened. Jacques Pierre Francois, we'll get to his part now. He was talking to a very rich guy. Well, I guess two rich guys. I think he was talking to, I think it was Goodman, and he was talking to some other guy named Abdul Jabbar. I don't fucking know. I'm not trying to be racist here, but he talks to this guy from the Middle East that's often, like, really wealthy. He's really rich. So he goes to him, and then he asked for the art piece that has his testicle on it, Jacques' testicle on it. And obviously, for some reason, it had to deal with him not being able to have kids ever again. Well, not ever wanting to have kids ever again. So Jacques made this art piece to celebrate how, not to celebrate, but to show off how he will never have kids. And the Middle Eastern rich wealthy guy wants to buy it for $1 billion. Unfortunately, Jeffy comes in and fucks up the deal. He rants about how Jacques was never in his life, and yeah, that happened. But moving forward, the deal just didn't go through. Jacques is pissed. He tries to get rid of Jeffy by kidnapping him with a snail, with a French snail. He's buddy with him. They go to a jet. They get Jeffy in his car, and they have him strapped up with the airplane. And you know, the pilot guy is just like blasted with ridiculousness right now. He doesn't know what to do with this situation. He's like, how am I supposed to grab this car, have it dangling in the air, and kill this guy? And having it kill this guy, hopefully. Like, we don't know how this is gonna work. So they go through with the plan. They detach the car that had Jeffy in it, the Jeffy mobile, and Jeffy somehow parachutes to the ground unhurt. So, a little Deus Ex Machina type thing going on. And so it pretty much shows us that no matter what happens on Jeffy's birthday, he gets to live. He gets to survive the incident. I mean, we've seen this over and over and over again. And unfortunately, they did it again. So that's a good thing, right? So, yeah. And so we go back to the gang waking up at the motel room where they are obviously hungover. Obviously, they had a bunch of hangover references from, you know, the Hangover 3 movie. Yeah, from there. So, the guys wake up. They realize Jeffy's not with them. He must have ran off somewhere, went missing, obviously because he was drunk. And sorry about that. Cat was making noise. So, yeah, they all tried to find Jeffy somehow, but they were unsuccessful. They head back to the house where Rosalina was waiting. And obviously, after hearing the news that Jeffy went missing or he died, because they probably saw it at the news, you know, exposition news, it was also part of this SML movie. They ended up figuring out that Jeffy died. And obviously, we've probably seen this scene already. And so, unfortunately, you know, Jeffy passed away. But we all know that didn't happen. Jeffy came back. He's alive. He basically told everybody, yeah, how I survived this time after being, you know, kidnapped by my father in his jet is by, you know, having a parachute in my car because I knew I would be set up for this moment. It's as if we needed to know that for some reason, even though it already doesn't make any goddamn sense. It's as if Jeffy knows how to predict the future. But that was pretty much the very last thing and the very end of the movie, and it was pretty great, pretty nice. Now that I've already explained what happened in this movie, it's time to talk about what I don't like about this movie. And if you stuck around for this part, then I appreciate it. And, leave a like if you enjoy my argument about this movie. All right, like I said before, everything was great about this one. This one was really good. I'm not gonna lie, it looked like Logan did like nuts to butts with this. Like, he did not have any stoppage at all. He was just going with it. It seemed like it was a great plot. The only problem is it just doesn't make any sense to make Jacque the new villain in the SML universe. And although he had some displays of being a villain in the SML universe, it's just in this particular movie, in this video, I just don't think it makes sense, because Jacques Pierre Francois is just like his own person. What I mean by that is that back in Jeffy's 20th birthday, Jacques Pierre was just minding his own business. He was driving down the countryside of, I guess, Florida, and he ended up having his car, wrecked, and he needed directions. He needed directions. That's what happened. He needed directions. He came across Nancy's mobile home, and Nancy basically didn't want to help him at first sight, but he wanted to be very nice to her and say, hey, I'm a rich guy. I'll probably pay you if you help me find the directions to the nearest airport. That's where he was going. So he was just asking for direction. But unfortunately, she ended up trying to persuade Jacque into drinking, right? And not only drinking, right? She was trying to be friendly, but in the worst way possible. She ended up drugging Jacques Pierre Francois and then forcing herself on him. And then he woke up and fled to the country after figuring out what Nancy did with him while he was basically inebriated. Like, he was just not in control of the situation at all. This was basically grape, if you could see it that way. Yeah, I think I've explained it the best way possible. Nancy took advantage of Jacques Pierre Francois, and she also ended up having his baby. That's a shocker. That baby later ended up being Jeffy. Now, moving forward with this plot. In Jeffy's 21st birthday, Jeffy ended up showing up in Jacque's face. I'm sorry, the Q just messes me up every time I pronounce his name. But he ends up showing up to Jacque's face, right? He ends up saying, well, you've never been in my life. You're a terrible father. How could you done this to me? But that's the problem here. Jacque never wanted a kid to begin with. So why would he have to be tormented into being with Jeffy and having to deal with this false accusation that he has a bad morality? I just don't get it. I feel like as if Jacque's character was just used to be a villain. Like, since Nancy's no longer around, since she was alive from being shot by Jeffy, and then alive again, only to die and get blasted by Brooklyn guy, we're only left with Jacque, the only living family member of Jeffy besides his grandparents. Jacque was hinted that Jacque knew Jeffy existed and that is his son. But however, I feel like a lot of people, including the SML fans who probably know the lore really well and don't know the lore at the same time, or just there for the fun of it, the problem is that everybody thinks that Jacque is a bad guy now. But that's not true. I've already explained it before, but Jacque is basically a victim. One of Nancy's multiple victims. Nancy has kids with almost every guy she's slept with. And obviously it's because she does the unprotected, stuff with them. So there's that, and the fact that Jacque never ever wanted to have a kid in the first place. He doesn't have kids out there in the world. We don't know that yet. But if there's a backstory that Logan could add on to, maybe Jacque is just as neglectful as Nancy, then that would make sense. But we didn't get that. Unfortunately, we've just gotten a stranded idea that Jeffy was abandoned by his father because he was neglectful, he was irresponsible, he knew that he was going to have a kid, but he doesn't want to take care of the kid. I just don't understand where logic comes out of this. Like, it doesn't make any sense. It's as if wherever Jeffy is, whoever Jeffy points at, he'll just say, "This is a bad guy. We all should hate him," type deal. Even though we should push all the logic behind. We should push his backstory behind. We should not put in the fact that Jacque was an actual victim of Nancy, and he's trying to stir away from that his whole entire life. He doesn't want anything to do with it. But unfortunately, Jeffy's, way of thinking, he thinks that Jacque was just as neglectful as Nancy, but that's not the situation here. That's not what happened. We all saw the video before Jeffy's 21st birthday. We saw the 20th birthday video. We saw how Nancy took over Jacque's life by just having a forced baby with him. He forced him into a position that he never wanted in the first place. And unfortunately, when he introduced the testicle art style display to the rich Middle East person that he was supposed to make $1 billion off of with a deal, he was supposed to sell it for $1 billion. That's what we're left with. We're left with Jacque Pierre being the new Nancy of the SML universe, the new villain of Jeffy's birthday. And that's pretty much it. That's the tragedy of Jacque Pierre Francois. But here's the thing. I don't think that this is the end of this character, because Logan likes to use characters and give them the ability to survive shit that they should be dying from. Like, for example, being shot at the head, Nancy for some reason survived. I believe that Jacque Pierre Francois already, committed Control-Alt-Delete only for him to sell his paintings for more money and is still alive. So he basically is doing the same thing in the most recent video of Jeffy's birthday, in the 21st birthday, by crashing the airplane to the ground, only to, I guess we could also add in the fake BS I survived my own demise plane crash incident. So this is what I think will happen. Jacque is not dead. Jacque will be reused to be a villain for Jeffy's birthday videos. And on top of that, he's going to be the reoccurring villain in these videos. I feel like that they're going to use him as this rich evil character that will continue to try to kill Jeffy somehow during his celebration of being an adult. So, what can we learn from all this? Well, it's that Logan's writing, when it comes to creating plot and being consistent with his content, the lore, he's pretty ass at it. He doesn't really know what he's doing. He hinted at Jacque's existence and his knowledge of Jeffy since Jeffy's 18th birthday, but he never showed us how that happened. We never got to see Jacque's learning about his son's existence and how he feels about having a son around. I'm guessing that he's trying to forget the past where he was being used. And it's unfortunately that he's one of Nancy's victims. You can't really have Jeffy be the dictator of everybody that's associated with him and how, they treat him if they never wanted to be part of his life to begin with. Nancy is the only character that would fit this description of being hated. Jacques, I don't think he deserves it because all he is just a French painter that got, well, you know, forced on. And now he's dealt with a kid that he never wanted. This lack of proper backstory leaves a giant hole in the narrative. By skipping over this crucial part of the story, Logan effectively turned a potential victim into basically a villain, like a one-dimensional deadbeat dad villain, the new Nancy, like I said before. He took away all the nuance, sorry, I can't pronounce words today, and potential for a compelling character arc, and instead just made Jacques this bad guy that we need to hate. You know, that's the narrative now. We have to hate Jacques no matter what we do. And yeah, and that's it. So when you watch Jeffy's 21st birthday, try to look at Jacques' point of view. I mean, we've literally was given this literally last year, and now we're stuck with a villain that has a backstory that has literally zero logic. All right, he can't be considered a bad dad if he's also part of Nancy's ruse. Like, he's part of the plot of, you know, her scheme of becoming rich by banging a rich guy and having his kid by force, by the way. So anyways, hopefully they get to continue Jacques' life by being the new villain to help give Jacques more character, I guess, to becoming a villain, even though this video right here is to explain why he's not a villain. Basically, he's a victim that's being used by Logan as an instrument of becoming the new villain. So yeah, we're introduced to a new villain, and his name is Jacques. Unfortunately, that's what we're given with. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I know it's rambled as long as it should be, but hey, we're here. Anyways, I'll talk to you guys later. See ya.